shine now. And let the music shine now. Soca is my sunshine on a cloudy day, chasing all the darkest skies away. But sometimes life can be so dark, and sometimes we need a spark, we need a spark. It's the race from the base, how we jumping up for days. Anytime, any place, soca lighting up the ways. It's the race from the base, how we do it up for days. Anytime, any place, soca lighting up the ways. When sing it out, sunshine, my soca sunshine. Shine your light, you make the place bright. Shine your light, we winding all night. When sing it out, sunshine, my soca sunshine. Shine your light, you make the place bright. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. When you're losing your strength and you're losing your mind, we know we looking for soca. And the place it's sour like lime. You know we looking for soca. Soca make you shake your behind. You know we turn into soca. Make you jump out yourself and have a good time. And let me have a good time now. Soca is my sunshine on a cloudy day, chasing all the darkest skies away. But sometimes life can be so dark, and sometimes we need a spark, we need a spark. It's the race from the days, how we jumping up for days. Anytime, any place, soca lighting up the ways. It's the race from the days, how we do it up for days. Anytime, any place, soca lighting up the ways. When sing it out, sunshine, my soca sunshine. Shine your light, you make the place bright. Shine your light, we bind.
Greetings, greetings, greetings and salutations, one and all.
Sunshine, shine your light, you make the place bright. Whoa, whoa.
Have you found your sunshine?
Kumbaya, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. Those locked in on TuneIn Radio on the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele.
A cloudy day, chasing all the darkest skies away.
Much love to you, those who are in New Jersey,
Life can be
locked in on NIE Radio.
nice. We need a spark.
Big ups to the Motivator. Remember, you can catch the Motivator
Jumping up for days.
Thursdays and Saturdays
Soca lighting up the ways. It's the race.
on NIE Radio, on Reggae Global Radio.
Anytime, any place. Soca lighting.
Thursdays he's on at 7 p.m. at 9 p.m.
And the place it's over like lime. You know we looking for soca.
That's Double Trouble Thursdays.
Shake your behind. You know we turn into soca.
And then on Saturdays, it's Motivation Saturdays.
Have a good time now. Soca is my sunshine on a cloudy day.
He's on at 1 p.m.
The darkest skies away. Sometimes,
Much love to those who are locked in on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com.
sometimes we need a spark. We need a
Big up Mr. Lindsay.
race from the days. How we jumping up for days. Anytime,
Remember, you get Mr. Lindsay 5 days a week,
lighting up the way.
Monday through Friday,
Race from the days. How we do it up for days.
from 12 p.m. Eastern.
Any place. Soca
And
lighting.
then you get a special treat on Reggae Global Radio on a Sunday.
My soca sunshine.
Sunday Classics.
Bright, shine your light, we winding all night. Sing it out. Sunshine. My soca
Big ups to those on PEMGTV.com. Much love to you.
Whoa,
Those on Zeno FM, bubbling in the stew pot.
kumbaya, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Much love to those on Clubhouse and the Facebook Live. Remember, on Clubhouse and the Facebook Live, it's just a segment broadcast, so don't get too comfortable. But what you can do is come over to the website. That's kevinstew.com. If you're on Facebook Live, it is pinned in the comment section. Those of you on Clubhouse, it's in the description. Inviting you to call a friend, tell a friend, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. Because we're not leaving anybody out. Everybody welcome, because the information is for everybody to get, right? I want to say thank you to my segment sponsors, Paul C Media Group, and Being in the Moment is Priceless. Give them a call, 754-999-1140. Why? What can they do for you? Well, everything you see here on kevinstew.com and more.
Life can be so dark.
So you have a wedding, a party, a graduation, a funeral, a seminar, something you want to stream live on a secure platform, whether yours or theirs. Just get them a call, 754-999-1140. Tell them that Kevin Stew said he can hook them up. Well, they can hook you up. I want to say thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you, bringing her table, her oils, and over 20 years massage therapy experience. Go ahead and give her a call, 954-655-9000. That's 954-655-9000. She only has one request outside of paying her, and that's called the Kevin Stew clause. It's to get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done. That's because I always fall asleep. Thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment. Reggae Global will act as your booking agent, handle your tour management, take care of your trademarks, business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Go ahead and give them a call, 954-804-8199. Check them out online, reggaeglobal.com. See what they can do for you. And just call my name when you call them, yeah? Like Kevin Stew said, I must call you. Much love to McNeil Trucking. With McNeil Trucking, your goods are in good hands. Licensed and insured. Movers in the state of Florida. Give them a call, 954-406-9740. You want to move from here to there? Just want to move some of your goods, some of your furniture, maybe. Send some things off to the shippers. Don't have the equipment, don't have the manpower. Call up McNeil Trucking, 954-406-9740. Say, tell them let them know you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. And chances are, you call up any of these sponsors of mine, and whatever you're calling for, you will leave smiling, because you'd think that they were your sunshine. It's the sound of Blacks kicking us off tonight. The track is called Sunshine. Numbers to call, numbers to text to get you in touch tonight. And the phone lines are always open. 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. One more time. 773-789-7839. You can see it scrolling across the bottom of your screen right there. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, Telegram. You have no excuse to say, hey, I didn't know how to get in touch. I'm living in Timbuktu because Timbuktu was full. I don't know. But WhatsApp works, Telegram works, you can text, you can call. Or if you can just call directly, 773-789-STEW. Alright, so tonight we're looking at enlightened acceptance. And what, pray tell, are we addressing when we look at enlightened acceptance? Well, it's pretty simple. It goes along with my motto, having acceptance through enlightenment. And a few years ago, I put this together using the word hate. And I was told by some people, yo, listen, that's just not gonna fly. That doesn't work. You're trying to change up something that has been there in place for so long. Go with something else. Here's the thing though. I was, for a lack of a better word, convicted. I was sold on the idea that with this, if nothing else, it could start a conversation. It could start some dialogue. You're not cutting anybody. It could start an exchange, right? It could start a thought process going. Because that is where everything kicks off, from a thought, right? So here we are. Big ups to those already in the stew pot. By the way, if you're listening in and you don't want to call, you don't want to text, but you want to participate, send a message here or there, you can jump into the stew pot. What is the stew pot? Is what others call a chat room. But because we're fancy on kevinstew.com, we call it the stew pot. It's where we keep things interactive and bubbling, yeah? So come on over kevinstew.com. You don't need to register. You don't need to offer your firstborn, give a blood sacrifice, an internal organ, nothing like that. Just go to kevinstew.com and you are there. You can remain anonymous if you choose. You can put your name if you choose. I want to say big ups to Marlon, hanging out in the stew pot right now. Reggae Global General Manager, host of Real Rockers. You can catch Real Rockers at 7 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays on Reggae Global Radio and affiliates. And that's something you don't want to miss, because Marlon's a real edutainer and reggae music historian. So do check him out whenever you get the chance to. All right? Much love to you, Marlon. And big ups to my cuz out of Jamaica right now. Much love. This weekend coming up is the first of its kind. And each one will be the first of its kind when this anniversary rolls around. But just remember, cuz love, it's here, right here. You're looking at it. Much love to you. I love you, and that won't stop, right? Just remember that. So here we are, and as sharing my idea of changing the whole idea behind the what we know of hate to be, and make it something more positive, put a positive spin on it, and provoke a thought. And of course, like many people are, when they start something new, there was pushback, there was negativity. And so I had to make a decision. Do I just say, all right, this is what the people are saying, and I'm going to go with that? Or do I go with, but this had to have come to me from somewhere for something? Here's the thing. I was going to do a broadcast on hate. And if you check my archives, you'll find it. I was going to do a broadcast on hate, and I wanted the one of the takeaways from that broadcast to be something profound. Now, whether it is profound in my head alone, or it is profound to those who are actually listening and are those who have listened since, I am going with something profound, and I'm resting on that. And so I came up with having acceptance through enlightenment, and I even got a t-shirt printed. I'm wearing it right now. See? Right. And that was for those who are watching. Those who are listening, I don't know how you're going to see it unless you come over to kevinstew.com. Or if you're watching on Facebook Live right now. All right, but I decided to run with it, and I decided to stick with it. Now, this was at a point in my life where I was coming into a reality of my own. There are things that I have looked into. I had gone to therapy. So anybody who hasn't yet seen a therapist in their life, I recommend it, if at least once, to go sit with a therapist. If you're going to go sit with a doctor and get an annual checkup, then you can go sit with a therapist. If you're going to go sit with a dentist, you can go sit with a therapist. Because your mouth is taken care of, your body is taken care of. Why shouldn't your mind be taken care of too? I'm just saying. I grew up in a community where, in a society where the thought was, if you go to a therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, see anybody about your mind space, then something must be wrong with you. You must be crazy or something. But they never yet really said that when about going to the doctor. No, some people only go to the doctor when they're sick. Cool, I get that. However, how about going to the doctor when you're well so that you stay well? How about going to the dentist before you get that toothache so that the toothache doesn't come? In the same way, how about going to that therapist before you have a mental breakdown? And so I had started going to a therapist because I wanted to learn more about me, and I wanted to learn more about why people thought the way they did. Hence, Real Talk, which really gets deep down into how we relate to each other and some of the psychology behind it. And I decided to go full on this journey, not knowing exactly where it was going to take me. So, what was required for me to go on this journey? I had to accept certain things. But in order to accept certain things, I had to learn certain things. And those are things that related to me. And that was one of the very first things that, one, I had to learn, and two, I had to accept. This was my journey. It wasn't the journey of my friends along with me. It wasn't the journey of my partner along with me. It wasn't the journey of my children along with me. It wasn't the journey of anybody else along with me but my shadow and my multiple personalities. And I had to realize that first. Then I had to accept it. And more, talking with people, I've come to realize that there are things that we are doing that either we haven't realized why it is we're doing it, or we cannot accept why it is that we want to do it, or why we're doing it. And just this week, I had a number of conversations with people, which kind of led me to do this particular broadcast tonight of Enlightened Acceptance. One of them, a friend of mine in Jamaica, she is a life coach. And as a result of our discussion, she created a whole program that she started this week. So we actually had we had the talk last week, and she created the program starting this week. I had a talk with one of my cousins, one of my older cousins, and as soon as we started talking, he mentioned we have a family group, and he mentioned wanting to put something in the family group, but having reservations about it. And I said to him, so why though? Why are you having a reservation about this? You yourself have come across this particular thing. You've checked it out. You think that it could be beneficial to us in the family. But you don't want to share it because you're concerned about what some of the family members might think or say. Okay, I get that. How much does it really matter though? You believe that it can be helpful. You are trying it for yourself. So how harmful could it be? One of two things is going to happen when you share this with someone. Either they're going to say, yes, they're on board, or no, they're not. So Why would you want to just go ahead and think for them about what it is that you want to do when you're convicted? You have the conviction to do it. The thought has already come to you. The idea was in your head. It was placed there by a supreme being, a power beyond your control. Because if you were to be asked why it is that you came up with that, what are you gonna say? Chances are, a lot of the times it's, I don't know, it just came to me. Okay, accept that it came to you. Figure out, learn whatever it is that you need to learn about it, and let's go. Way too often, we sit there thinking about what others might believe of a thing, how others might feel about a particular thing. And in the midst of it all, stifling ourselves, killing ourselves practically. Because in that moment where you had that thought, you were alive, you were bubbling, you were excited about something. But here came these limiting beliefs. Because that's exactly what they are. The thought that said, but you don't have the kind of credentials it takes to advise anyone on this. You don't have the kind of experience to say that this can work. You don't have that kind of following to be putting out an idea and putting on this type of event for it to work. Well, guess what? When the Wright brothers made the airplane and it flew, prior to that, there were no airplanes. Think about that. When the light bulb was created, there were hundreds of failures before the first success. Do we think about that? How many things are being praised today that before now people were saying, but no, that can't work? We have come to, if we don't know what it is, at some point in time we've heard it and it resonated with someone. The serenity prayer. You know what it is, right? Where it says, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. A lot of people focus on the part about the serenity to accept the things that they cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference, and the courage and miss out on a very important word. And it is the simplest word in the whole prayer. No, it's not God. It's I. Because this is an individual thing. So when I talk about having acceptance through enlightenment, it is for that individual in that moment to be enlightened and to accept that enlightenment. And so this whole thing is about a journey that we are all taking. But it's our individual journeys. So whatever it is that you are dealing with, although I am here and I can support you, it is you that have it to deal with. You're the one that at the end of the day, you're going to have to be comfortable with whatever decision that you have made to go along with. It's not for me to say, okay, cool, this is what you need to do, I can encourage you. I can say, let me be a sounding board. I can be that. But I cannot be the decision maker for you. And so, with that being said, I want us to look into acceptance and what acceptance is. And what we're going to do is take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into acceptance and see if we can start putting the pieces together with how we get to a point of enlightened acceptance. Can we do it? Yeah, we can. Some of this is what we do unconsciously every day. Some of it, we do it because we were taught to do it. We're conditioned to do it. And it's just a matter of getting by without conflict. And of course, the majority of us, for the sake of peace, we avoid conflict. And it is not to say that we need to go out and become warmongers. No. But to have that conflict, it doesn't mean to be at war, at odds with someone else. That conflict is just a difference of opinion leading to a place of agreement, leading to a place of acceptance, not agreement, not necessarily agreement, a place of acceptance. And when we come back from the break, I'll say why not agreement, but acceptance. Call your friends, tell your friends, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. We're talking enlightened acceptance tonight. Generally, more specifically, the whole idea behind having acceptance through enlightenment. Come back with us. Those of you on Facebook Live, those of you on Clubhouse, this is where we're going to part company. Come on over to kevinstew.com for the remainder of the broadcast. All right. Just to let you know, need to let everybody be aware of this. Coming up this Saturday, April 16, is Rhythms of the Heart, featuring Fitzroy, Big Sax, Minot. Now, this event is a live event. Big Sax will be playing live, and there will be a DJ, and there will also be Zion on guitar. So it's a Rhythms of the Heart night, and it doors open at 8 p.m. This happens at Eats 876 Restaurant, downtown Fort Lauderdale. It's 627 South Andrews Avenue. And this is a GMAC Music Solutions event. So come on out. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. It's only $10 pre-sold. There's ample parking. There'll be food there. There'll be drinks there. I will be there providing music. Don't want to miss this. It's Rhythms of the Heart this Saturday, April 16. Come on out. Bring your friends. Bring your family. Let's have a good time. All right? See you there.
Policy Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsing Media Group.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Reggae Global Entertainment presents the brand new self-titled album from Yishka with 9 great songs. Oh, baby, let me love you.
Oh, baby.
Be grateful for life.
Be grateful for life.
Shake you down.
Girl, I wanna shake you
What else can I do?
What else can I do?
Babe, come over.
Baby, come over.
My. It's our time
You know I love you.
for your love.
I would do anything.
I'm falling.
I'm falling in love again.
Yishka. 9 great songs. Available on all streaming platforms.
You sure look good tonight.
Available now.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Cabins too, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Cabins too sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Selassie DJ Cabins too.
I was born as a brilliant child. I never knew what the future holds for me. I can't count all the tears that fall, all the struggles though I worked so hard. I never knew where the day would come when I rise from the ghetto and the slum. Now I'm seeing the rising sun. Now the glitters and the riches can't done, 'cause I'm a winner. I was born as a star. I don't need no one. Tell me who I am. Many try to tear me down. They want to see me on the ground. But each time they set their trap, they just push me further to the top. 'Cause I'm a winner. I was born as a star. I don't need no one to tell me who I am. I'm a winner. I was born as a star. I don't need no one. Tell me who I am. Let me tell you about my life. Long before my kids and wife, how I grew from rags to riches. Didn't come by sudden flight. I had to burn the midnight lamp when my friends and my foes them around. Education, my mom used to say, so sad she had passed away. I had to push myself through school. One shirt, one pants and shoes. Now the rest is history. I'm all that a man can be, 'cause I'm a winner. I was born as a star. I don't need no one to tell me who I am. Yes, I'm a winner. I was born as a star. I don't need no one me on the ground. But each time they set their trap, they just push me further to the top. Cause I'm a winner. I was born.
Are you saying these words right now?
Don't need no
I am a winner.
to tell me who I am.
I don't need anyone to tell me who I am
I'm a winner.
because I recognize who I am.
Born as a star.
You just get up and decide that that is what you're going to do. That is the position you're going to take.
I'm a winner.
And most of us, we need to go through something to get to that point, right? I want to say thank you to Althea SU for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast with her healing heavenly hands. Thank you, Althea. You are truly a winner. And you know what? I don't have to tell you that because you know that already. You went ahead and you created your business doing massage therapy. Now, that is not the only thing that you did. And this was something that you started doing 20 plus years ago. What, 22? A little over that. Just about 22 years ago. It was a journey that you decided to go on. And you've told that story here on the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. You've told it to me personally. So I know that story. Right? How many of us have stories? Just before I got off Facebook Live, Dr. Kelly Brown put a comment on the broadcast, on the live, and she said, "We don't think we can walk when all we've done is crawl." And that comes from our limiting beliefs. We don't believe that we can walk. You know, when babies are getting into the walking phase from crawling phase, we encourage them and we tell them, come on, you can do it. And then they start doing it and we cheer them on. And for the remainder of their lives, we tell them to sit down. You notice that? Go sit down somewhere. We encourage them to walk. We encourage them to get up and move around. We encourage them to do this. And we celebrate it when they do it. But yet still we tell them to go sit when they start doing it. We restrict them. And I don't think we look at what it is we're doing. We only see as far as that particular event. So here we are back on the broadcast talking about enlightened acceptance. 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. 773-789-7839. Call, text, WhatsApp, Telegram, any which way you choose. Of course, the Stew Pot is available on kevinstew.com. Come on over to Kevin Stew if you're listening and want to share an idea, thought, or you know, encourage even me if that's what you want to do. Go ahead, do so. If you want to try to discourage me, you can do that too. So there are some people out there that is what they're all about. Telling people that, hey, you cannot do this. Well, at this point in time, you cannot tell me that I cannot do it. I've been doing it for over a decade. Go figure. What do you mean I can't? You are not going to fuel my limiting belief, and I'm not going to allow you to do it. You understand? So do your next best. And that's the kind of approach that we need to be taking as we move about in our lives. So here it is. We've come to a place where we said, okay, let's go ahead and accept what it is that this thought, this idea. You know, what do I need to do to get to the point of acceptance? Now, I went and I did some research, as I always do, and checked out Psychology Today and came across a couple of articles, one of them being The Secret to Mastering Acceptance. And the subtitle is, Don't Try to Change Things You Cannot Control. Now we've gone back to the serenity prayer, right? God, give me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Grant me the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So we recognize that I is the important part in that prayer, right? And if you didn't realize that before, now you know. The important part of that prayer is I. It's individual. So the subtitle of this says, know what you can't change, basically. And it goes on, the author, Dr. Who was it that wrote this one? Jen Kim, who happens to be a valley girl with a brain, says, in so many situations, especially those beyond my control, I've always found it difficult to accept things as they are. How many of us have done that? The last several months stuck indoors has tested my patience and sanity to the extreme, with a new baby in tow, as well as an inescapable terror about the future. My inability to accept this new reality has resulted in nothing but perpetual anguish and rage. This is not healthy. I am not healthy. Here it is. Now she has gone to a point where she's recognizing what is going on. She's accepting. Well, she hasn't accepted yet. She's just recognizing. So now she's becoming enlightened about what is happening around her. And she goes, I imagine there are many of us who feel this way, constantly vacillating between fear and fury, which is why, for all our sakes, she says, I turn to the professionals to show us how to better accept the things we simply can't or don't want to accept. And there's that part of it too, the resistance to accept something. Only because it goes against the grain. It's not what everybody else is doing, so I shouldn't do it. Now, this is what psychologists talk about as groupthink. And you've probably seen the studies, you've probably seen the experiments where, and they've been doing this experiment from back in the 70s, where you have a group of individuals, let's say 5 of them. 4 of them are on the study, and there's one that doesn't know what is going on. And so they show some flashcards with some information, and they do a few rounds of this, where the first round everybody agrees on what is obvious. The next round they start switching it up and start saying that what is not true is actually true. And they do this for a few more rounds until the person who is not in on the experiment starts conforming to what everybody else is saying, which is actually incorrect. Why? Because they fear standing out. They fear being different from the rest. Here's the thing that I've come to realize about acceptance. It is very different from agreement. People talk about agreeing to disagree. That is accepting the position that you've come to rest at, basically. You have come to a place where neither of you can argue your points anymore without going in a perpetual cycle. So you've said, okay, let's not waste any more time on this. Let's just agree that we're going to disagree on this topic and move right along. So the relationship remains intact. Your opinion remains intact. Their opinion remains intact. And life goes on. Did they agree? No. The agreement there wasn't the subject that they were debating. The agreement was to hold on to their own opinions and keep it moving. Here's the big thing about acceptance. It is recognizing that where you stand on something and where I stand on something, though we're different about it, and though we may not agree, I now can accept where you're coming from because I am hearing you put your supporting arguments for your position. Now, if there's no supporting argument to the position that is being taken, that leaves nothing for someone to be enlightened about. Because here, let's go back to this hate thing. A lot of people say they hate something, but they don't know what that thing is. So basically what they're saying is, I don't understand that thing. People say they hate snakes. Why do you hate snakes? Oh, they're just gross. Okay. But there are people that love snakes. Yeah, something is wrong with them. What is wrong with them? I don't know, but something is wrong with them. They need a therapist. Why do they need a therapist? Because they love snakes. Okay. These people never took the time out to find out anything about snakes. Yeah, they're cold and clammy and their muscles move and feel funny in your hands. I can say that because I've held a snake. I have a picture back in Hollywood where I was walking the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and there was a guy on there with a, I don't know, about a 12-foot albino python. And, you know, pythons are constrictors. We all know about constrictors, how they operate. They squeeze, they literally suffocate their food. So here I am holding this python. He is draped over my shoulders, and I have his head in one hand, his tail in one hand, and I'm like, in my head, I am doing this because what? You know, so here is a moment of a why. And a lot of us don't take on our whys. And my why for doing this was, I've never done it. And here's this dude that has the snake, and clearly the snake hasn't attacked him. So I guess I can do it too. I won't know until I try. And I tried it. I did it. I had the experience. Will I do it again? I'm still on the fence about that one. I'm not too stoked up about doing it again. But since then, I've held a gator. Yeah, I've held an alligator in my hands. I don't particularly like reptiles, but I held one. And so, what was different? Well, I could hold a gator now because I recognized that his mouth was taped. What does that mean? Well, his legs were also taped because he got claws. So it means there's less likelihood I'm going to get scratched because it is trying to move. And significantly less likelihood I'm going to get bitten because its mouth is taped shut. And what we know about gators is their weakest muscles are their jaw opening muscles. Now, the closing muscles, that's a different case, which is why it is easy to keep their mouths shut. Now, without knowing that information, then there's a factor of fear that is almost unsurpassable, you know? But here it is now, you're armed with a little bit of information. What happens to that fear? It is tapered down. So you're not as scared anymore. People visit the zoo and wildlife safaris all the time, and they come across some dangerous animals. But what? What makes it okay for them to walk along among these dangerous animals? The fact that they know that these animals are in an enclosure that they have not, up until this point, escaped from, nor have they tried. So they have that sense of security. Why? Because they know something. So here it is. It's the absence of some knowledge that causes that moment where you think, I cannot go with this. I hate it. I hate sharks. But here it is, some people swimming with sharks, and we see them doing it and saying that they are crazy for doing it. Are they crazy for doing it? Maybe. Do they know something more about sharks than we do? Ah, there. That right there. These people have been studying these creatures for a long time, so they have learned how to interact with them. People that operate the circus, you have certain animal trainers. These animal trainers are the only ones that work with these animals. Why? Because they have learned their behaviors. They have learned how to communicate with them. They have an understanding of them. It doesn't mean that they no longer respect them, because the respect is there. They recognize that they are still more dangerous than us humans, and can be more dangerous. They can be quite dangerous. But what is the difference? The knowledge, that enlightenment. So the things that we need to recognize about acceptance, it's not an agreement. It's a place where we say, cool, you know what? Let's go ahead and work with this. So in getting to that acceptance, the article on Psychology says, free your mind. Be mindful. So here's that awareness. Numerous psychologists and mental health experts who responded to the call for help had one common theme: mindfulness. Paul Harrison, a mindfulness expert and founder of the dailymeditation.com, describes mindfulness as the practice of being aware of the present moment without judgment. And especially the key to mastering acceptance, or the ability to be non-reactive to people, events, or our own thoughts and feelings. The practice of being aware of the present moment without judgment. Geez, what is it that would make us judge something? What is it that would make us judge someone? Our own thoughts, where we rest. Yeah? What if that were removed? Would we be more accepting? So here it is now, a moment, a light bulb goes off. We're a little bit more enlightened. Oh my goodness, I didn't think about that. Well, you didn't think about that, or you didn't think. Not calling anybody out on anything. Not trying to put anybody down or anything like that. No. So the article goes on and looks at right versus wrong. Is there such a thing? Who is right? Who is wrong? And this goes back to now our disagreement that I mentioned earlier. They go on to say, the article goes on to say, a powerful step in our path toward mindful living, says Harrison, is to stop thinking in terms of right and wrong. This is challenging, especially if you've already set your mind on things happening or being a certain way. So Harrison's advice is to practice calm observation, which is to try to perceive things without reacting to them. And doing so trains the mind to experience negative thoughts and feelings in a non-reactive way. When we take out the right and the wrong aspect of things, when we ask a question and we say, you know what, there's no wrong answer. This is the moment where people start reacting and giving their opinions. They now feel a level of freedom in sharing their position, because there's no such thing as a wrong answer. A lot of us have reservations about giving wrong answers because we're so conditioned to only have the right answers. Here's a mind-blowing thought. There are no right answers. And if there are no right answers, then there are no wrong answers. They're just answers given based on what you know. So where does that leave us? That leaves us in a place where we are encouraged to learn more, to become more enlightened. Where does that put us? It puts us in a position to be more accepting. We talk about people who have alternate lifestyles, quote unquote, they are in the same category as people who have snakes as pets, people who swim with sharks, people who play with gators and crocodiles. Well, more gators than crocodiles, because the gators are the less docile, are the less aggressive of the two. Again, having knowledge of that, you kind of know which ones are better to play with. The people that play with snakes, they know which ones are poisonous and which ones are not. When you look at snake charmers, it's not that they don't. Well, yes, their fear has somewhat been reduced because, hey, snakes, they're intelligent creatures. They have sensory glands that pick up on certain things that we ourselves as human, we are not equipped to do it, or we are not as advanced as they are in that way. So here it is, they have these specialized organs that are not specialized in us. And so they can sense fear. And some animals, that is what they use as their moment to strike. Dogs can do it. And many of us have dogs. I don't anymore. I grew up with them though. And when I had them, I could tell the ones that I should stay away from the ones that I could just pet easily, just by their bark. Could I explain it? No, I couldn't. But I had that inner working, that inner knowledge. So, again, that's enlightenment. And so, it may seem like a lot of information, isn't it? Doesn't it? That we have to put together, piecing here and piecing there. But just stay with me. Go on this journey with me. Open up your mind to taking in some information and taking a new position on things, being more enlightened, so you can get to a place where you accept it. Because again, it starts with you. It starts with me. The I is where everything starts. And once I can get to the place where I will say, hey, I am going to learn some more about this before I make a judgment call, before I make a decision. Why? Because knowledge of this particular thing will influence how I accept it. And so one doesn't go without the other. And as we go on the journey of having acceptance through enlightenment, we realize the acceptance and the enlightenment go hand in hand. You don't really have one without the other, because you can say you accept something, but it only happens when you learn about it. That's the enlightenment. And you could feel uneasy about something because you don't know about it. So you shun it. And then you learn about it, and here you come accepting it. So yes, they go hand in hand. Does it change how we perceive hate? It may not. Does it cause you to think? That it should. And like I say, I'm here to stimulate your appetite, not to satisfy your hunger. So do I have all the answers? No, I don't. Do I encourage you to go and find some more answers? Because there's no way you're going to find them all. So do I encourage you to find some more answers? Yes, I do. That is my stimulating your appetite, not satisfying your hunger. We're going to take another break. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk some more about the whole idea of enlightened acceptance. We'll be right back. Call your friends. There's still time. Call me. Share with me where you are now. Has it changed from when we started? Do you have a different perspective on just about anything, if not everything, about something, about one thing. Think about one thing that you had an aversion to. And ask yourself, how much do I know about this thing? And then see if you can find one bit of information. And with finding that information, do you feel that same way about it? Think about a reptile, a rodent. Think about something like that you've always had an aversion to. What do you know about it? It's a night shift to DJ Chemistry Real Talk night, looking at enlightened acceptance. Yeah, we're stirring the pot tonight. It's more about my position on this whole concept of having acceptance through enlightenment. We'll be right back after these messages. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Making great music is one thing, sharing it with the world, that's another. Let the professionals at Reggae Global Entertainment help you to another level. Specializing in artist management, booking, public relations and marketing, and promotion, Reggae Global Entertainment can help you with event planning, websites, photography, and video production, press releases, legal services, and graphic design. They can even help you with music production, so you can get the sound that you want every time. Call Reggae Global Entertainment at 954-804-8199. That's 804-8199. Or visit them online at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. Teddy Greaves Jr. with 6 brand new songs out now on his brand new EP, Teddy Greaves Jr. with songs you know and love like Can You Stop the Rain? One Last Cry. Can't Get Over You. Wait Too Long. You and I. And One Last Cry, the acoustic version. Teddy Greaves Jr. Now available on all major digital platforms. Teddy Greaves Jr.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me.
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
and in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today?
The only thing I didn't learn today?
The only thing I didn't learn?
Is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Yes. Akar Mantino, I'm making know sir right now you are locked in to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift.
Music for ya is an inventing, it is an inventing, it is an inventing. I know true I sing, I friend, I sing, make I want sing, make I want sing. Can't help myself when me hear boom ready, when me hear boom ready, when me hear boom ready. Inspiration a flowing on me head like water from spring, like water from spring. Tell your man born for this star now, chat no. From a little and I grow me and brothers paternity last stage show. Full time now the world we know. Now everyone pay attention when we say you can know. Tell a man born for this, cry for this, life for this, so no try stifle this. When you see me in the streets and a road, when we tell you we no live with no ivory. Why are we a born for pagan? No for them have them talent and a sing man. You know see them a birth for Satan. Them a mark of the demon. Tell a man born for this star now. Chat no. From a little and a grow me a brothers paternity like show. Full time now the world we know. We know. Now everyone pay attention when we say you can know. You see say hard work pay out, day out, just to get me name out there. Oh, me can't go the wrong way, me no care when no man say. You get me name out there. I stand from brothers to G-Fam, you don't know the thing time. From America to England, from Africa to Costa Rica. Turn up my voice, don't wanna be that. Tell your man born for this channel. Chat no. I'm a little and I grow me and brothers paternity last stage show. Full time now the world we know. We know. Now everyone pay attention when we say you can know. Tell your man born for this, cry for this, life for this, so no try stifle this. When you see me in the street and a road, when me tell you we no deal with no ivories. Why are we a born for pagan? No for them have them talent and a sing wrong. You know see them a work for Satan. Them a mark of the demon. Tell your man born for this star now. Chat no. I'm a little and I grow me a brothers paternity like state show. Full time now the world we know. We know. Now everyone pay attention when we say you can know. Music for ya is an inventing, it is an inventing, it is an inventing. I know true I see, I friend, I sing, make I want sing, make I want sing. Can't help myself when me hear boom ready, when me hear boom ready, when me hear boom ready. Inspiration a flowing on me like water from spring, like water.
The sound of Jadan. A track called Born for This, bringing us back in from the break. Welcome back to the broadcast. It's Real Talk right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele. Looking at enlightened acceptance. So of course, you know, I did some, like I said before, I did a little bit of research as I did this, and most of the information that I'm presenting to you tonight is not from the research that I did, but from experience. And so this bit of information here, again from Psychology Today, talks about the psychology of enlightenment. And it says the act of seeking enlightenment can help you psychologically. And this was an article written a few years ago, back in about 2016, so 6 years ago, by William Berry. And he says a lot of my writing focuses on enlightenment or self-actualization as a psychological goal. Part of this is a result of the existential belief that enlightenment, self-actualization, is the goal, and that on some level, we all, or at least most of us, know it. And this idea is suggested in a post that he saw by Jason Silver, as a philosophy personality known as Brain Games and Shots of Awe. And in a post, he quotes Timothy Leary and says, Admit it. You aren't like them. You are not even close. You may occasionally dress yourself up as one of them. Watch the same mindless television shows as they do, maybe eat some of the same fast food sometimes. But it seems that the more you try to fit in, the more you feel like an outsider, watching the normal, quote unquote, normal people as they go about their automatic existences. For every time you say club passwords like, have a nice day, and weather's awful today, eh? You yearn inside to say forbidden things like, tell me something that makes you cry, or what do you think deja vu is for? Face it. You even want to talk to that girl in the elevator, but what if that girl in the elevator and the balding man who walks past your cubicle at work are thinking the same thing? Who knows what you might learn from taking a chance on conversation with a stranger? Everyone carries a piece of the puzzle. Nobody comes into your life by mere coincidence. Trust your instincts. Do the unexpected. Face the others. Now, this illuminates a couple of things. First, it reflects as an aspect of life where we're all caught up in. We yearn for something deeper, yet we get caught up in the trivialities of life. We have to survive. We have to work and get things done and pay the bills and other things, the myriad of other things that distract us from what we might be truly calling us. And second, we think of ourselves as different from others, deeper perhaps, but we keep it to ourselves or deny it for fear of venturing into that path. And it's just easy to take a moment and discuss human condition. Most posit that to live is to suffer. And I thought, boy, this is so true. It is the first noble truth of Buddhism. In other religions, humans are promised a heavenly experience once they have suffered through this one. And there are jokes, sayings that encompass the feeling that life is difficult. Like, life sucks, and then you die. F my life. Most people are satisfied to distract themselves from the pain of life. Some work to overcome the pain inherent in it, and so still others seek to find meaning in the pain. So, where do we go when we look at enlightenment? Wayne Dyer described one of the first steps to enlightenment as being able to recognize how something difficult in life turned out to be a blessing. In both the stories of The Lotus Sutra by Gene Reeves and Don't Be a Jerk by Brad Warner, the authors allude that being born human is a blessing, as opposed to being born a god, that is. Both say that this is a result of hardships leading to the desire to work toward enlightenment. Whether this is true or humans just choose to find meaning in their suffering and become better people, the result is the same. Movement towards self-actualization, enlightenment, if you so wish. And as such, a mental health issue like addiction, depression, anxiety, or the like are blessings because they encourage the person to work on herself and thereby create a more meaningful and happy life. Now think about it. I haven't said this in a while, but how true it is that when you have, up until this point, anyone that's alive right now, anyone that is listening to me, whether you're listening to me live or you're listening to the podcast or you're watching on YouTube, whatever, wherever it is that you're hearing my voice right now, up until this point, every issue that you have faced outside of the one that you're facing right now, you've come through it. Which means that you have 100% success record up until this point. Each of those boulders that you saw in your way, that you have stepped over, if you look back at it now, you recognize, well, we're just stepping stones. So no longer do they appear as boulders. Now you're enlightened because you learned something as you were in that situation. And that thing that you have learned has helped you to get past that moment. So where does that put you? It puts you in a position to say, you know what? If something else comes along, I can attack this. But again, you have to be aware that you just conquered the last thing. So on our journey to have acceptance through enlightenment comes this awareness. Because now you're mindful of the state that you're in. You are recognizing that you are intentional about learning something that you don't know about in order to not agree with it, but to accept the position that you're being placed in. To be accepting of it. And again, accepting something is not agreeing with it. It's accepting that this is what it is. And I'm going to work through this. I'm going to work with this until I can do differently. How do you end up doing differently? That is up to you. Do you have to learn a new skill? Do you have to market a little bit better? Do you have to meet some new people? Do you have to move from where you are? Do you have to end a relationship that you're in or that you have? So the two are different, by the way. Whatever it is, those with the DR can tell you. You know, and I say it all the time. But know this, I say it jokingly. I don't have a DR before my name, I have a DJ. But it doesn't mean that you can't learn something from me. So, you want to go with the DRs? Okay, go ahead. Check what they have said and check what I have been saying and see if they're any different. Because them and me, we all learned from the very same places. We've read some of the same books. We've listened to some of the same speakers, some of the same professors. So, what makes us different? What makes it so that if they say something, it is believable, and if I say it, it isn't? It is credible with them, and with me, it is just blowing air up your behind. It is what you have chosen to accept based on what you know. So you are told, you are taught that someone that has certain accolades, has certain letters before their names, that hold certain positions, that these are intelligent people in the know and you should listen to them. But have you stopped to talk to the person that is a vagrant on the street side and they have only become that because the business that they had was robbed from them? And the level of stress that they were enduring at the time, they could not bear it anymore, and this was their out. They never got the help that they needed. Have you stopped for a moment to speak with one of them? Have you stopped for a moment to speak with the person that is incarcerated? Oh, but no. Prison is not somewhere that you would visit, because anyone that is in prison deserves to be in prison. But we've come to realize that that is not the case. When I started addressing wrongful incarceration, someone said to me, why are you talking about that? You need to be talking about what's going on in Jamaica. And I said to them, why? I don't live there. I live here. And I have children that are growing up here. And if this is a situation that's happening here in this country, and I have a platform where I can have a voice, and this is an issue that I feel compelled to address, why shouldn't I? Let those who are in Jamaica deal with the issues in Jamaica. I'm in the United States. I don't know what is going on in Jamaica like that other than what is presented in the news. And what is presented in the news is not everything. So no, I'm going to have to go and dig for some information from some people who are there. Well, I'm here. I'm recognizing, and the very same way I'm getting the news here in the United States, it's not everything, and I have to go dig for information here. But hey, this is where I live. It affects me more directly here, what is happening here, than what is happening in Jamaica. So I need to address what is happening here in the United States. And after I'm done addressing this here, and the people in Jamaica, because nobody in Jamaica is going to listen to me. I don't live there. They don't know me. But if I address some situations here, and people hear me addressing a situation here, guess what? The way how we are conditioned to operate, they're going to say, oh, but here's this guy addressing some things over there in the bigger country. Maybe we can listen to what he has to say. That's how we operate. Because we have learned something more. And I'm not saying that I do what I do because I want to get that recognition in Jamaica. No, that's not why I do what I do. And that if you need to find out your whys, why you do what you do. That's a part of your enlightenment. And then when you find out your why, then you can be more accepting of it. And then this part here that they talk about in this article, where people, humans just choose to find meaning in their suffering and become better people. The whys. So they say life stinks and then you die. Because, hey, Murphy's Law says if anything can go wrong, it will. But there is, what's it called? Hanson's Law. Is that what it is? Which says you present information with intelligence and rewards will flow, money will flow, or money will follow. So it's not all doom and gloom now, is it? Some of it can be quite rewarding. So how do we get to that point? And what is the purpose of having acceptance through enlightenment? Well, the purpose is so that we're not limited to what we can do and where we stand. It now says that we can get up and do that thing that we have been dreaming about. Why? Because we have taken the time to learn something more. To learn about the field in which you want to go out into. That's the enlightenment. And then to accept that, hey, it can work or it can fail. The most important thing is not what it is perceived by the others, but how you perceive it. What you know it is that you're bringing. How well it is that you have done what you have to do. Because my mother taught me as a little boy that when men on earth have done their best, angels in heaven can do no better. And she taught me that lesson because there were things that I was doing and I was getting frustrated because I couldn't quite get it right. But right was a matter of what someone else perceived versus because it was my creation. And that getting it right was how I was seeing it through someone else's eyes. So if I have done my best at this thing that I have created, who is someone else to tell me that I didn't do it right? It's not their creation, it's mine. And recognizing that it is perfect in its flaws is recognizing that it is a work in progress, and so it is alive and will continue to develop, and will only get better and better. I remember when you heard me mention the I am earlier. I didn't stress it, but I need to emphasize something about it right now before I get into musical therapy. I am is very important in debunking or kicking these limiting beliefs. When I started the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, I was invited on Flex FM to be a part of Flex FM as a DJ, play music, have my own broadcast 4 nights a week. And everybody was playing music. But I felt I needed to do something different. And so I decided that I am going to do a talk show. And so here I am over a decade later. The night shift with DJ Kevin Stew experience lives on. But I had to say I am going to do. Not I'm thinking of doing, not I want to, but I am. And then years later, I was thinking of doing a website. And I thought of doing a website for almost a year. Then I said, I am going to do a website. And a former colleague said, you know what? Here you go. And presented me with a shell of a website and said, I'm going to make your website for you. You are going to have to populate it and do whatever, put your content on it. But I'm going to create the shell for you. That happened as a result of me saying, I am going to do this. What's your point, Kevin? Well, it's simply this. When you have started your journey of acceptance through enlightenment, and you have learned something more about this particular thing, and you've come to the point where you have accepted that it is more than what it is, you can say, I am going to work differently with this. I am going to take this and build on it. I am going to make a difference in at least one life. So where does having acceptance through enlightenment takes you? It takes you to making a difference. If it doesn't make a difference in anybody else's life, it needs to make a difference in yours. Because now you have learned to say, I am. And there's nothing more powerful to an individual than to recognize that self, than to recognize that whatever it is that you are going to set out to do, that you can do it. Because up until this point, every time that you've come across an obstacle, you have been successful in navigating it. Those challenges, you remember them? When you look back at them, you were like, oh, but... And then to deal with this, it was so easy. I didn't realize. It only became easy after you learned something about it, though. So, as we move on into musical therapy and close out this night shift week, I hope that you have been even that much more enlightened and have come to a point where you can accept that, with all the things that Kevin talking about, there's some truth. There's something that makes sense in it. There's something that I can take away and build on. If not, let me know so that I can go back to the drawing board and see how I can reach where you are. Because I have reached where I needed to be in order to get to this place where I am now. And so have others who are not doing things the way that I am doing it, but they're doing it the way that they know how and the way they feel comfortable doing it. Because again, this thing that is called life, it's an individual's journey. Your life and my life are only similar in the letters that make up the word life. Some of the experiences might be similar, but again, it may be because we are in similar environments. Where and what are you doing with your life? How are you working out your enlightenment? How are you accepting the things that you are learning? How are you applying it? Have you started accepting through enlightenment? Are you stuck on hating a particular thing? Well, if you're still saying, why, I hate this versus I'm uncomfortable with or I don't understand, then you need to take a step back and ask yourself, why? Why is it hate that is my choice of words in describing how I feel about this? And when you recognize your why, then now you have had your initial breakthrough. And it gets you closer, gets you a little bit closer to the point where you can say, boy, you know what? I'm not comfortable with it, but I get it. I'm not comfortable with your position on a particular thing, but I understand where you're coming from. Here's where I am coming from. Let's see how we can work past this. Because it's not that I am right and you are wrong, or vice versa. It's just that we don't understand.
And this a real life story. It's time to get going. No, real life story.
As we get into musical therapy,
12 a.m. when me.
This is Denver Downer, a track called 12 a.m. aka Reach It. Thank you, McNeil Trucking, for sponsoring musical therapy. I truly appreciate, love you guys.
And this a real life story. It's time to get going. No, real life story. Full time, yeah. 12 a.m. when midnight starts. I mean that with the midnight touch. House locked down, one light on cars. I got to reach it. I'm in a start in the millions, yeah. But me I work is a million sweat. Daily me make a million steps, cause I got to reach. For make it in a life from a dream, so my planet want make more greens than trees on the planet. Don't get me wrong, greed me and stay from it. But life short like 12 lines to a sonnet. Hard for achieve and my mind conceive. That's why me a tough it out real concrete. Goals in a life for your wants and needs. You can't reach till you plant one seed. That's why 12 a.m. when midnight starts. I mean that with the midnight touch. House locked down, one light on cars. I got to reach it. I'm in the start of the millions, yeah. But we are work is a million ways. Daily me make a million steps, cause I got to reach it. Problems for my chest and I feel like I would have bench press 5. Duty call now with a ring like S5. To the top, man, I see no express line. Work hard, no wait till next time. If you are study for your test, I sell juice like that. I beg you, do your best, you can't lose like that. No, focus, not confused like that. I make the two ends meet like hands on the clock. Was 12 a.m. midnight start. I mean that with the midnight touch. House locked down, one light on cars. I got to reach it. I'm gonna start to the millions, yeah. We are work is a million ways. Daily me make a million steps, cause got to reach it. Yeah. Real life story. It's time to get going. No, real life story. Full time. Yeah, yeah. Your real life story. It's time to get going. No, real life story. Full time. Yeah. 12 a.m. when midnight starts. I mean that with the midnight touch. Oh, slap down one light on cars. I got to reach it. I'm in the start to the millions, yeah. We are work is a million ways. Daily me make a million steps, cause got to reach it. Ha. 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 Now I'm feeling up. Yo. Me not
nah go complain. No matter what the people say, me nah go complain. Yeah, I get down on my knees and pray. Me nah go.
This is the sound of Dale Brown.
Though the system nah go my way, me nah go complain.
Track call nah go complain.
Work hard every night and day. Success don't come overnight, don't watch the hype, enough how we a struggle and enough how we a fight, and we can't get a bite. We nah lose hope, nah lose we drive. We nah stop try till we dream come alive. See, that's okay, that's alright, cause my God will step in. Me nah go complain. Yeah. No matter what the people say, me nah go complain. Nah go complain. Get down on my knees and pray. Me nah go complain. Though the system nah go my way, me nah go complain. I feel work hard every night and day. I was born in the islands, yeah, and now I'm living in a strange land. But I will never ever stray from the original God plan. See, everything have a season, and everything happen for a reason. So trust the Most High, everything alright. One holy faith, me nah go complain. No matter what the people say, me nah go complain. I get down on my knees and pray, me nah go complain. Though the system nah go my way, me nah go complain. Work hard every night and day. Listen. See, no matter how hard it may get, don't you lose hope. See, this is the time to know that God is in control. Please don't let go. Me nah go complain. No matter what the people say, me nah go complain. Get down on my knees and pray. Me nah go complain. Though the system nah go my way, me nah go complain. Work hard every night and day. No matter what the people say, I get down on my knees and pray.
Listen, 2020 has been a rough year. For the books, probably the worst yet. But every day we get a chance to be a better version of ourselves. So we're just going to keep pushing. Every single day, every day we wake up, try to be a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday. Complaining now, make it get no better.
Me nah go complain.
Not at all.
No matter what the people say, me nah go complain.
Son of Dale Brown.
I get down on my knees and
listen, not going to complain enough.
Though the system nah go.
I'm gonna find a way to push through. Like Denver Downer said, got to reach it.
For so long, you and me been finding each other for so long.
This is Anna Jonah Marie.
That I feel for you
She says, listen, I just want to be your everything.
from me. If you give a little more than you
Bouncing through this musical therapy.
darling, I would wait forever for
If it's the first time you're catching the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele, welcome.
my world around you, darling. This love will shine, boy. Watch it and see. If you give a little more than you asking for, your love will turn the key. I just wanna be your everything.
This is Joanna Marie, and it's all about DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. You feel for some stew? Check out Kevin Stew.
wait forever for those lips of wine. Build my world around you, darling. This love will shine, boy. Watch it and see. If you give a little more than you asking for, your love will turn the key. I just wanna be your everything. Open up the heaven in your heart and let me be the things you are to me, and not some puppet on a string. Oh, if I stay here without you, darling, I will die. I want you laying in the love I have to bring. I'd do anything to be your everything. To be your darling, for so long, you and me been finding each other for so long, and the feeling that I feel for you is more than strong, boy. Take it from me. If you give a little more than you asking for, your love will turn the key. I just wanna be your everything. Open up the heaven in your heart and let me be the things you are to me, and not some puppets on a string. Oh, if I stay here without you, darling, I will die. I want you laying in the love I have to bring. I'd do anything to be your everything. To be your I just wanna be your everything. Open up the heaven in your heart and let me be the things you are to me, and not some puppet on a string. Oh, if I stay here without you, darling, I will die. I want you laying in the love I have to bring. I'd do anything to be your everything.
When I kick it with you tonight, baby, with you tonight. No hanging with my crew, an evening just for two. With you tonight, baby. For some time, baby girl, we've been reasoning. Now it's time for a meeting. Without a text and phone calls, we touch you out. Time to show you the meaning.
This is the sound of Phil Watkins.
The night when I want you next to me.
This track is called Kick It With You.
Flow with loving, and that's a guarantee. Tonight, baby, with you tonight. No hanging with my crew, an evening just for two. With you tonight, baby. I wanna put time on repeat when I'm with you. The world stands still when I kiss you. I got to make the moment count, it no matter the amount, girl. When you leave me, I go miss you. But let me say this, lady, your sexy drives me crazy. While I'm kicking it with you tonight, but say your body got me mesmerized. Will you tonight, baby? With you tonight. No hanging with my crew, an evening just for two. With you tonight, baby. Somebody we how you move it. Your body is a blessing, you are use it. You are the bomb, me I diffuse it, fuse it. I can't refuse it. The way you move, girl, the way you groove, your sexy little attitude, it gets me in the mood. The way you groove, girl, when I'm with you, your sexy little attitude, it gets me in the mood. Will you
friends, here's your friendly announcer.
This is Ed Robinson.
Serious news to pass on to
a track called Love's in Need of Love.
What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster, could change your joy and laughter to tears and pain. It's that love in need of love today. Oh, don't delay, send yours in right away. Oh, because hate's going round, breaking many hearts. Oh Lord, stop it please, before it's gone too far. Hey. The force of evil plan to make you its possession, and it will if we let it destroy everybody. We all must take precautionary measures. If peace and love you treasure, then hear me when I say that love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Don't you know that hate's going round, and it's breaking hearts? Oh, we all gotta stop it. Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. Oh, yeah. Love's in need of love
This is perfect. Get him on it. The track is called Wait in Pain.
step into my
yo. The bush a burn, so I don't stop fire now.
This is the zone of Caramanti. It's called Swap. Start with a prayer.
And if you still a fear, that one you know. Me a device, but Jaja a the power, yo. Spiritual war, I feel ready, can't tire now. So make we pray for the demons. They want a ruin naked and a pre-man. Purpose, mislead, distraction. Ultimate life, goal conversion. Oh God, make we stay in the word, man. Genesis to the book of Revelation. Me wish heal when we encounter Satan. Make we pass away, no last in the Gideon. Mighty one, address every funny girl, every funny man. Clean dirty heart, dirty intention, and deal with the killer way I kill for the wrong. Please bless up every juvenile and every young man. Protect the little girls, give them guidance. Bless up Jamaica, me little island, and bless I plus I song. Alright, so make we start with a prayer, yo. The bush a burn, now I don't stop fire now. Me and the word to me move, kinda iron now. Spiritual war, I be ready, can't tire now. People make we start with a prayer, yo. And if you still a fear, that one, yo. Me a device, but Jaja a the power, yo. Spiritual war, I be ready, can't tire now. God, give me strength. You alone know what me going up against. Spiritual war, me a fight to the end. And I owe me true, so I owe me defend. Have I got enemy, but me know you are my friend. Standing on my feet, Caramanti no bend. The weapon I use is a pad and pen. With that I beat and butter rose them. Alright, me put in the work extend. Push myself to the limit transcend. We pass the borders, the creeks and bend. So me can do your will uphold my end. No believe, some say God then. Some a praise man, some a praise themselves. I a praise you cause I you give me strength. And that's my prayer right now, amen. Alright, so make we start with a prayer, yo. The bush a burn, now I don't stop fire now. Me get the word to me move, kinda higher now. Spiritual war, I be ready, can't tire now. People make we start with a prayer, yo. And if you still a fear, now what they know. Me a device, but Jaja a the power, yo. Spiritual war, I be ready, can't tire
now. Leaving you tonight with music from the new album from Cass Smith. It's called Journeys. This track is called Quando Quando. Remember, as we part company, to look out for members of your community. Look out for those that you pass on the bus, on the plane, the boat, or the train, or they walk, ride, or drive, because these are members of your community. It's not just those that live in your development, right? Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's gonna do something good for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stew. Catch you on Saturday inside Eats 876. Yeah man, Rhythms of the Heart, 8 p.m. Tickets available on Eventbrite. See you on Monday. Thank you to the affiliates and the sponsors. NIE Radio, WGLRO. Well, WGLRO not on tonight, but the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Much love to you, PMGTV.com. Thank you all. Truly appreciate, love you. Until we meet again, good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, I bid you a good night. Take care, be good. If you can't be good at it. Take care. Greetings and salutations, one all. You're invited to tune into the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.